Show an example of an actual live call and break down some of the stuff that's happening. And this is a cold call.
Don't worry about doing research. The important thing is to get on the phone.
Gatekeeper's job is to help you connect with the right person and asking, I wonder who the right person is.
They're actually investing in marketing and making their salespeople do 20 calls a day.
Before I ever make an offer to anybody, anytime, any place, is I ask their permission.
Because you're going to start off with 0, and then you're going to get 5, and then you're going to get 10, and then you're going to get 20 of these types of people over a course of a month.
Welcome back, everybody. We are on the weekly sales jam, and I'm back with Jason Kanigan, who is obviously a sales wizard. Those of you guys who have been following along already know that, but we wanted to do something kind of interesting for you guys today, which is this is an older one, but we're going to show an example of an actual live call and break down some of the stuff that's happening. And this is a cold call, the dreaded cold call. I'm talking to strangers, and we're going to run some sort of analysis here. So rather than me, let's build it up. Let's just get into this call, and hopefully I have my audio settings set up correctly. I got it on the
Sure.
speaker.
And this is a little while ago. So I'm better now.
Yeah.
I am more able and competent now. But I was calling dealerships in and around my hometown in British Columbia, Canada, the Vancouver area, car dealerships. And as you can imagine, they're getting hammered by everybody just the same. But you will be probably astonished by how much information I get out of this guy and the steps by which I go through it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
For calling. Hi, where how may I direct your call?
Hi, I'm not sure who I can speak with. I normally talk to the GM.
Okay. I can direct you to a sales manager.
Sales manager's fine.
One moment,
Sure.
please.
Saving you
Thanks.
time and money on this.
Sales, Joe here, may I help you?
Hey, Joe.
Hi.
Is this a bad time to talk for a minute?
No, you can talk.
All right. Well, my name's Jason, and I work with sales managers of dealerships who want more high quality ups and B-backs coming in the door.
Yeah.
If we could talk for a minute, I could see if there's anything we could do to help you out or not.
Well, you should come because these guys here are very aggressive. They're one of the top retail outlets in Western Canada. They're making up sales from about 10 people a day, from referrals from our service department. So the best thing to do is to meet up with Ian. He's the owner.
Okay.
Problem is he's in
spell
Duncan
last
right now because he owns like 5 dealerships. So he'd be a really good person to make contact with.
Okay.
So Ian's, and again, I have the same number, but he won't be here probably till Monday.
Monday. Okay.
Correct. And he owns like 6 dealerships now, 3 Volkswagen stores, 1 in Duncan here, a couple more. So it's worth talking because he'll listen. If he has some good ideas, he'll listen to you.
That's awesome.
Okay, Jay?
Okay, let's talk about step 1 of that.
Okay. So all you people go, I gotta get all my information in order and do my research. Middle finger. Hey, did you hear me say the name of the person I was looking for? No. I used the little unsure technique, which I have recordings going back to 2011.
Yeah.
Right? Not too sure who I need to connect with. I usually talk to this role and let the receptionist do the work. Right? Give them barely a good enough maybe reason to connect the call.
Yeah.
Right? Start with that. So don't worry about doing research. The important thing is to get on the phone. Second thing, guy answers. Right? He's the right role. And what do? I go into my quick 30-second commercial. Now, I don't know if you heard, I used industry terminology, right? B-backs and ups, right?
Yeah.
So instantly, he knows I'm not just another lead generation dingbat or something like that. I actually know a little bit about the car industry, a little bit, at least, right? And so what does he do? He goes, yep, you can hear the first response to him is like, oh, I know what this is, right? Also, I asked if it was a bad time to talk, right? Which is a good method of finding out, like, hey, are you ready to receive this and have this conversation? And it lets them know that this is a sales call. And if it was a bad time, they would tell me, and I would call back another time when they would be more receptive. right? So a lot of things going on in the beginning there. I didn't care who I had to talk to. I didn't tie myself up in knots trying to figure out what the name of the person was, of the sales manager or whatever. I delivered my 30-second commercial after asking if it was a good time to talk, a bad time to talk. There's actually a psychological reason why you want to ask if it's a bad time to talk, but and then delivered my 30-second commercial, which was very quick, and with some industry jargon, demonstrated that I knew what I was talking about. And then he told me who to talk to. The fact that the guy owns 5 or 6 dealerships, so I'm going to magnify my effect here, right? If I can get to that person, it's not just blinking it off one at a time. And I didn't have to sound super confident about anything.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I paused at this point in the recording because for this presentation video, and we can't see that, but that's okay. I'll say what I put in the words. A regular cold caller would have wanted to get off the phone, and this is a mistake, right? And they would have been like, okay, good, I got the guy's name, Ian, whatever. I cut that out. I trimmed it, and they would have left. Okay. Now, I wanting to know more, right? Oh, there's a guy here, right? I want to know his disc profile. I want to know, like, how does this guy like to receive information? Okay. So I actually do something you're not supposed to do, which is run over the guy a little bit and keep talking, because I don't want him hanging up on me, right? So you'll hear me do this, right? Oh, Jason, you broke a rule. Well, yeah. And listen to how much more information I get out of the guy.
So I'm going to hit play here in a second, but I just want to add my little 30-second note. A couple of things is, Ari Gelper talks about this when a lot of people do cold calling. Same is true of cold outreach, is they unconsciously follow a script where they say, hey, I'm calling from company XYZ. The reason I'm calling today is because, and that already puts up their defenses to their pitch. And then I see this where people go, I can't get past the gatekeepers. And you adopting the frame, which I think is much more valuable, is assuming the gatekeeper's job is to help you connect with the right person and asking, I wonder who the right person is. They will suddenly go into helpful mode and try and connect you to the right person. So there's that piece as well. And then also, like you call it your 30-second commercial, but what's really powerful in there is you have a very clear and specific outcome that your audience, it's not wishy-washy, I'll get you more leads. And in their case, it's a very car dealership specific type of thing. And this is, as you mentioned, like this is like 11 years ago. So this is, you've gotten better since then, but let's continue with this if we can.
Okay, I want to jump in here and give some commentary.
We're skipping.
That is
We're gonna skip your
make 10 calls a day. Okay.
Every salesman has to hand in 10 calls. That's cold calls. Like people from our previous customers, service related customers. Excuse me, I got a little tickle in my throat. And of course, follow up. All the people that you sold. The person sold, and they got to follow up and try to get referrals. So they're very, very, very aggressive, and that's why they sell between 250 to 300 cars a month. And it's number one in Western Canada. So they know how to generate business when it's quiet. But if you've got an additional ideas on how to generate business, by all means, they will listen, because these guys here even have, like today, for example, they've got a sales event. They'll send out a bunch of literature to our private sale to our previous or service customers. Yeah. And right now, everybody's phoning. They're phoning a sheet with 20 calls on there just to confirm that they got the invitation and if they plan on attending the event. And it's working out really good. We see that out of 20 people you call, you're going to get one person that's going to come in. It is a long process, but you know what? It's another deal that didn't happen before. So
yeah, exactly. And if you're there for the long term, it's just going to flow.
And they don't rely on ups. People coming into the store. Those are extra bonuses. So they really want you to have appointments, and every day you got to hand in your appointments. Okay. And then the manager confirms the appointment. If the manager confirms the appointment, they spiff you. They give these guys pretty good money, like up to $150 for confirmed appointment and a sale on top of your commission.
Okay.
So they're aggressive. They know what they're doing, and it's a model store. So I think that if there's anything more that they learn from it, they're willing to listen.
Okay. Joe, what was your last name?
My name is Joe. I'm one of the floor guys managers, but we have like 7 managers here. The right guys to talk to are like Ian and Ivan. Ivan is also not bad. He's a general manager. Ivan. Those are the 2 key guys here.
All right. Let's hear it, my man. some
Yeah.
analysis.
So again, did you hear how much more information I got out of that guy?
Yeah.
I even got another name.
Can I
right?
also just add, like, a lot of people
It was
think this
Ivan.
process is all about smooth talking and saying some perfect
Right.
line, but it's mostly like 90% him talking and 10% you adding a piece
Mhm.
here and there.
Yeah, exactly. And so we heard about their process, how they don't rely on ups, which are the people who show up at the front desk saying, "Hey, I'm interested in getting a car." So we start to build a picture of how this operation works,
Yeah.
right? They're not relying on just people showing up. They're actually investing in marketing and making their salespeople do 20 calls a day. They've got this marketing promotion right now where they're doing 20 calls and they have their numbers, right? The 5%, right? 1 out of 20 they expect to come back in. And then I heard about this Ivan guy, the general manager. So now I've got 2 people I can call back. I could say I talked to whatever this guy's name is, Joe or whatever.
And you're already not
tell
cold,
them
right? When you
about
say,
their
"Hey, I
own
talked to Ivan."
operation. Yeah. Hey, I hear you guys do this, this, and this, and I can identify also where I can help them. And if I'm just doing the sales calls and I'm not the tech guy on getting leads or improving their marketing or whatever, I can go back to my people on my team and go, okay, here's what I found. Here's the ground that they're covering. What do we have that fits either to enhance what they're doing or if there's a gap, right? Especially a gap, because that's what they said they wanted to hear about.
Yeah. And I just want to add, like, one little piece is this is, I think, not enough people understand is if you just show up with a generic copy and paste thing that they've heard 1,000 times, they're not super excited to hear from you, and they're probably going to shoot you down. But they mentioned something. If you have real good ideas, like, we want to hear them. Like, they're not closed to being pitched. They're just closed to the same generic bullshit they've heard 1,000 times. But they're not opposed to, like, real valuable stuff. And a lot of times, it's taking 5 minutes, looking at their stuff and seeing how you can actually add on to the infrastructure they've already created. Anyways, I'm gonna hit play and let's get into the next part.
Also,
So I'm skipping through Jason's pointers since we got the real Jason.
them generally be involved in making them tell me how to pitch his boss.
Okay.
All right. So would both of them generally be involved in making?
I would think that Ian makes all the calls because he's the dealer principal, but Ivan is always like high influence.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. I really appreciate you sharing that other information with me because it gives me a good snapshot of what the business is doing.
Good.
When I call Ian, should I mention that you and I talked a little bit, or
You can, or basically just do your pitch, just say, sound like you're really on top of it. What he likes is not so much second information from me. You should phone him and this is how I would approach him. Ian, I says, I've got some great ideas on how to generate a little bit more business, but I know you guys are really proactive. I know you guys do your 10 calls every day. All the salespeople, I know that you guys work your previous customers. Sound like you're, wow.
right?
Don't mention my name, but then he'll say, well, that guy told him. This way here sounds like you have done your homework. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wouldn't use my name. I'd just come in and say, just use that pitch and he'll love to listen to you.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Okay, Jason. Take care. Ciao.
Sure.
Yeah. He'll love to listen to you, by the way, which is not how typical cold calls go. They go, sorry, can't talk right now. Hang up the phone, fuck off, right?
The guy gave me the wording on how to approach his boss,
Yeah.
right? I didn't have to come up with copyright. I've been copywriter for 30 years, right? I didn't have to do anything. He told me this is how I would do it, right? The guy who's familiar with him. Okay. So, yeah. So I would guess his boss is a high I in the disc profile, wants to hear about new ideas.
Yeah.
And just go from there. But he said, don't mention my name because you want to sound like you're the guy. You're on top of things, right? And so we get out of this generic approach and this generic sound by doing this. And there was nothing like listen to what I said on that call, the questions I asked. There was nothing brilliant on there.
In many ways,
there were things that I didn't. People don't think to ask.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's hear your comments.
I just love it because you're allowing him to talk and him to share and there's a frame you're doing there that's very unconscious, but I think it's a really powerful thing if you ask anybody for advice and like you're an advisor, everybody loves to give their opinion. And so you're saying like, in essence, like allowing him to like, what would you say if you were me? How would you pitch him essentially? And when they're asked for their advice, they feel important. They want to tell you. And he basically just handed you the playbook of like this is what we do, this is what we're already set up, this is how I would fit into that. And of course, this is from somebody who knows the guy, right? So it's like, I wouldn't say you 100% can take that to the bank, but you can like 95% take that to the bank. Like he knows the guy, he knows what he's open to. He's seen him buy things before. He's seen him shoot down pitches as well. So he knows like which ones work and why and what, they could actually use. Is there more? Can I hit, or is it just the rest?
I think that's the end of it. It's probably me commenting on what we did, but yeah. So that's an example of just a straightforward call. Is every call going to go like that? No, right? Are you going to get? I rarely get yelled at. I rarely get hung up on. Just some feedback I want to give people. I had a guy years and years ago call me when I used to have a public phone number out there on my site, and just Jason, I made my first cold call after watching one of your videos, and the guy yelled and slammed the phone down on me. I was like, oh my God. So I was so glad I answered the phone because I had to repair that guy, right? I was like, look, you could make another 100 dials and that won't happen to you. I was just that one guy. So basic rules, like I want to talk to people who want to talk to me. And as you can hear, there are people who do want to hear from you, provided you approach them the right way. And I've also found that, how can I put the company culture, the personality fit side of fit that we're talking about, right, is very clearly on display from the receptionist onward, right, going into an organization, because the owner will allow that. The founder will allow that culture to persist. And so if it's a culture of mistrust and what are you doing here and whatnot, I'm going to go fight another battle, probably, right? I'm going to find somebody who's easier to talk to. But the people who are doing well, this is an indicator, right? The people who are doing well are open, they're friendly, they tell you what's going on, right? The people who are down to their last $500 are scared, closed off, nervous, thinking that you're coming to get their last $500, right? Whatever. You think that guy cares? Right? No, he's like, yes, let's talk about it. And it's a fun conversation. And
there's also
filling your calendar with that.
There's something you did there that I kind of wanted to emphasize for folks. And I call this red light, green light. There's a tendency to think like you got to rush into your pitch and get it out there and like say it as fast as you can. And as a result, it's almost like you just vomited on somebody. Like, I don't know if you guys ever have this, but I have it where sometimes people just like bring me their entire life problems that I didn't fucking ask for. And they tell me and I'm not talking like in a business setting, like you guys, part of my audience. Like I can just be at the fucking store. Somebody feels safe around me and they want to tell me, oh, I'm dealing with this and blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden I know that person's life story in 5 minutes, more than I wanted to know. And a lot of people approach sales like this, where they're rushing through this pitch. They're trying to, like get in a word edgewise before they're being hung up on. And as a result, they do get hung up on, and they do find like, receptionists and stuff are not super helpful. And to me, the antidote to all of that is what I call red light, green light. And an example of red light, green light is before I ever make an offer to anybody, anytime, any place, is I ask their permission and I say, I think we could work together. Is it okay if I tell you a little bit more about what that would look like? And that's a red light, green light, because if they say no, I'm not going to just proceed based, then it becomes rapey. It's like a guy who's like puts his hand on the girl's leg and she doesn't want that. And you just keep doing it anyway. Right. As where, if they say, yeah, I would love to hear about that. Tell me a little bit more about it. Then you have been given a green light to proceed. And you do that throughout the whole thing. Like, is this good time to talk? Red light, green light. I'm not sure if I'm in the right place. Can you connect me? Red light, green light. You're asking for them to like make the next step. Is it okay if I ask you a little bit about like what would you do for you or me? That's red light, green light. Tell me a little bit more about it. And it's a really powerful frame because it's the opposite of being this pushy, overbearing, used car salesman who doesn't listen to you. And it's more a collaborative. I think I could help. Is it okay if I tell you a little bit more about what that would look like? And it's mostly them talking because you're just asking for permission to go to the next step. And in doing so, people don't feel like there's this high pressure sales wizard showing up who's going to twist their arm and try to get them to buy something. The
Right.
opposite, they feel like there's real tangible value explained and they were respected in that process. And therefore, like, not just the sale, but everything that comes after it, you end up with a client who's actually manageable because you didn't like, I think of like timeshares as the ultimate high pressure, force them into it kind of presentation. But like there's a ton of buyer's remorse around timeshares.
Right.
Lawyers who try and get you out of those contracts. As the flip side of that is, if you say like, hey, is it okay if I call you? Is it okay if I pitch you an idea? Is it okay if I mention your name? That was another red light, green light that you did. Then they're not going to be offended that you mentioned their name because you asked their permission to do it. Right. So anyways, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that you wanted to add, but I just thought that
all great observations. But I just want to point out, I didn't do anything magical and I didn't say anything magical. Right. I didn't pitch anything. Did you notice? Right.
Yeah.
There was no pitch. There was a 30-second commercial, which generated interest and showed that I belonged there in the conversation. and then a series of drawing out more and creating space, right? For them to be able to fill it with their information that they had. Again, is every call going to go like that? No, but that's what a successful call sounds like, where you're really set up for success coming to the next step. Right. I know who I've got to call. I know how they want to be talked to. I know how to generate their interest in them. And now I've just got to find a good high quality time to connect with them and keep putting that in my calendar. And so imagine because you're going to start off with 0, and then you're going to get 5, and then you're going to get 10, and then you're going to get 20 of these types of people over a course of a month. Right. Imagine having 20 opportunities like that. Like 5 of them are going to work out. Yeah, for sure.
And for most of you guys, if you got a $1,000 to $10,000 a month thing, like you don't need very many of these to work out to like really get ahead in what you're doing. Like to make more than most people do, like to be the top 1% of worldwide income, like we're talking a small handful of people that that really have to work with you to make that happen. Can I just ask you one little piece, because the one part of this to me that is actually the rehearsed part, and you did it very, very casually, like it wasn't pushy, is your 30-second commercial. I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about, because that's the one piece you've actually thought about and like kind of formulated into like a little elevator pitch, if you want to call it that. But you know what you're going to say at that part where you say, I help blank to do blank. Would that be something you're interested in? I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about
there is a format. Sure, there is a format to that. You need a couple of pain points, right? You need to know the language of your target market a little bit. And this is, if you don't know that, do some information interviews. And if you don't know how to do information interviews, go to salestactics.org and search for, guess what, information interviews. And I have articles on there on how to do that. Okay. Another way of doing it is through book reviews in your industry. You'll see pain points listed in there. I bought this book because blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Can I just say on that point, Jay Abraham told me he charges $250,000 plus royalty for sales letters. And that's how he does his research is he goes through and he finds all the pain points on somebody's sales letter and just looks at, I bought this book because, or I didn't like this book because, like essentially what you just described.
Yeah. And so, or you can listen to podcasts and interviews with people in the industry and pick up a lot in that short period of time. I mean, a friend of mine, I got a couple minutes here and I got to get to my next call, but a friend of mine shared a video of this. It's of this inlet in Miami where boats come in and out, and they do this thing where they're not fast enough and they end up dunking the front of the boat, including the passengers who happen to be resting there, into the water. And I was like, oh, wow. And I learned from the comments in the video so much about this thing. I learned it was called stuffing and like how to avoid it and all that from the comments in about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I got discernment about this topic, right? Of how to go in and out of this Miami harbor through this little inlet successfully and why people failed and whatnot. So, if you can learn how to do it with something like that, a sales call is easy. I usually do 2 pains and a gain, but sometimes two pains is enough. So like frustrated, concerned, and upset. Right. was the old there, you know, I'm Jason, I work with XYZ companies that are frustrated about this, concerned about that, or maybe upset about that, but I don't know if you have any of those issues. The key
Yeah.
thing here, and I really have to get to my next call,
Okay.
is you need to deliver it slowly. You write your 30-second commercial and then you practice it in front of the mirror with the door locked by yourself. And honest, pretend like you're retarded. They, you know, say it so slowly, you know, Frankie, I need to express it this way because Frankie on the other end of the line never heard of me before, and he needs time. His mind needs time to think, right?
Yeah.
What's this guy saying? It's a pain point. Do I recognize that? Am I making a little mental movie of it for myself? Do I recognize that? Right. So if you rush through it, well, Frankie, I do this, that, and the other thing. It's
Yeah.
eject, right? You're gone. So that's the way to deliver your 30-second commercial and get ejected from the call is burst through it really, really quickly. So all right,
Sales tactics talks, or we'll put us
Thank
some
you.
links.
Yeah.
We got to cut this short because Jason's got a jet, but we appreciate you coming here on
Client
doing
call.
this. And that's
You
our
bet. It was fun.
appreciate you guys for
Okay.
listening.
Thanks, Frankie.
Hey guys, if you like this video, you may also like my best-selling book here, Beyond the Agency Box. It is all about scaling a digital marketing agency while eliminating meetings and phone calls. We actually sell our stuff phoneless. We don't have any client meetings, and we also hire our team entirely without meeting phone calls, which allows us to, you know, like actually kind of live a life. I've laid out the entire blueprint and everything you need to know, getting clients, onboarding, setting expectations, scaling, building a team, you name it. It has been a bestseller on Amazon now for over 5 straight years, but now you can get it even cheaper than you can get it on Amazon. So I can't tell you the exact price because it may change when this video is released, but there should be a link to it below, either in the description of the video or as well as a pinned comment. So if you're interested in that, check out that video and you can get a copy for super cheap.